Next up is Emerald Health Therapeutics, Riaz Vandali, the president and CEO. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Hold on, I scrolled just a little too far here. The ticker's here, EMH on the CSC and EMHTF on the OTC. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Riaz, welcome. I really appreciate you joining us, and I will let you share your screen and take it away, and then we'll come back for some questions here.
Great. Well, I'm delighted to be here with you today to talk about Emerald Health Therapeutics, which is a licensed Canadian LP, which has a very unique strategy and approach to the cannabis sector. To start off with, just the general safe harbor statements related to any of the notes and claims I'm going to be making in this presentation. And with that, we can get started. So Emerald Health Therapeutics is a company that's really focused in on driving the evolution of cannabis and cannabinoid products well beyond dried flower and oils into a stream of products that we term to be predictive action products that we define under our defined dose moniker. That's really trying to drive the evolution of cannabis and the next generation of products. We do that by understanding, applying, and deploying cutting-edge science into our product development efforts. And our products are truly targeted at a specific set of customers who are looking for the feature sets that we provide within our products. And as we look at the need sets of those customers, we're seeing increasingly that those need sets are shifting more towards health, wellness, and medicinal applications of cannabis. So to start off with, I would say that we do have a base of products and a revenue base that is grounded in dried flower and a very well-respected series of high potency and flavored oils. But whereas most LPs would then spend the next several slides talking about things like cultivars and seed to sale and facilities and vertical integration, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to talk about how we use science to actually develop innovative cannabis 2.0 and 3.0 products that have very defined feature sets that are very, very appealing for the target consumers that we are looking to serve well with the Emerald base of products. And a couple of tangible examples of that are our Sync tabs that we've just recently launched into the market, and our fast-acting nano sprays. These are examples of product types that we think are going to resonate very well with the customers that we are targeting, and they are two introductions of products that we've launched into the marketplace as first entrants very recently into the Canadian market, with a series of other new product introductions coming over the next several months. We do have a series of brands that we actually do provide that are catered towards fulfilling the needs of consumers in different segments. We offer our dried flower in Quebec under the Souvenir brand. We positioned that brand very uniquely last year as being a brand that actually is focused on high quality Quebec products focused at the Quebec consumer. And for those of you who know anything about the Quebec marketplace, that's a very important positioning segment, and that brand has resonated very well in Quebec. We sell the rest of our flower and our products throughout the rest of Canada under the Emerald moniker. Next week, we're actually launching a new rec-focused brand that's focused at a younger demographic with some corresponding innovative product launches that are, again, more rec market focused. Last but not least, our primary flagship brand is really our Sync Wellness line. And that's really the line that we're going to be focusing in on when it comes to our additional product development efforts as we move forward over the next several quarters. We also, within Emerald, possess quite a bit of knowledge beyond just the cannabis plant. We understand the endocannabinoid system, which is the health and wellness and homeostasis system of which the cannabis plant acts on. And we also understand that there are other plants that act on this system, as well as other functional botanicals that have health and wellness benefit. And we're working very hard on creating combination compounds that include cannabis, other phytocannabinoids, as well as potential functional botanicals to formulate in product formats to actually form the basis of our Cannabis 3.0 product strategy. Our first product is anticipated to be released before the end of this year, and we have some IP around some of these product combinations. And later on, I'll talk a little bit about why this is important in the market opportunity here. We have seen by looking at other mature markets that the diversification does occur over a period of time. So dried flower is always going to be a staple in the cannabis market. But if you look at markets like Colorado and California, you do see the diversity of products amplifying over a period of time. We don't have this on this chart, but we see a similar trend when we look at the purposes for why people utilize cannabis right after legalization to a few years thereafter, with initial utilization being heavily driven by recreational and social uses, and then thereafter being driven more by things such as health, wellness, and medicinal purposes. What we do in Emerald is we really focus in on understanding science, applying science and applying validated science to develop products that are innovative products. We also have a strong understanding about intellectual property, and an intellectual property strategy is part of our asset base. We take novel products then and make sure that we understand customer needs, and I'll talk about those, and target our products to fill those customer needs very well. And we do that in an innovative way that we call smart development. So I've talked a lot about science here, and this is a very important slide. This explains by what I mean by science. So within Emerald, we have hundreds of years of experience when it comes to understanding things like physiology, biology, and chemistry. We have a lot of people with a lot of expertise to understand concepts like pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamics and bioavailability and cell screening assays. And all of that scientific jargon is actually things that are very, very applicable principles that we utilize to develop products that we term to be predictive action products. And by predictive action products, what I mean by that are products where we have a clear understanding of their onset, their duration, and their offset. By building predictive action products, we actually give consumers the ability to actually take control of their cannabis consumption experience. And we think having control of the cannabis consumption experience is going to be a key driver and a key purchase decision maker when it comes to those consumers who use Emerald products. If we combine that predictive action with quality standards that exceed regulatory standards, and we put those products into formats that our customer segments are very familiar with and want to utilize, we have the basis of what we call the defined dose series of products. And what those products do is they give consumers choice, control, and confidence that they're making the right product purchase decision. When I talked a bit about that defined dose strategy and our C3 strategy when it comes to Cannabis 3.0 products, the reason we're so interested in that aspect as an evolution beyond Cannabis 2.0 products is because of this slide. Right, this talks about the great opportunity if you actually have products that combine cannabis modulation and an interest into the nutraceutical end of the market as well. The nutraceutical purchasers are very interested in using cannabis, but not all nutraceutical purchasers, as you can see, utilize cannabis. By giving them opportunities to use the defined dose product series, which comes backed by science, is high quality, comes in product formats that they're familiar with, and has scientific evidence to back up what it is that they are looking for with other functional botanicals that they're familiar with, we think that presents a combination product that can drive a lot of growth and a lot of interest as we move forward. The ultimate aspect of scientific validity comes from understanding what products are doing in people. And we actually have a tremendous amount of experience when it comes to clinical research. And over the course of the next 2 to 3 quarters, we are working with reputable academic and healthcare institutions, as well as very reputable researchers, to launch observational studies with 2 of our currently marketed products that are in the process of being reformulated, and 1 novel product type that we're just in the process of completing. And we'll be using those products in observational studies really targeted at understanding what those products are doing in 3 particular indications. The first indication is for back pain management. The second indication is for centralized sensitivity disorders, specifically looking at pain and sleep. And the third indication is looking at polysubstance abuse and the reduction of anxiety in polysubstance abuse patients. Intellectual property is something that, again, we've got a core capability set in. Intellectual property is something that we've developed. We have 7 patents. We're continually looking at expanding our patent portfolio. We have a strategy that focuses in on broad level claims that are refined as we get into international filings. And we also have demonstrated the value of our intellectual property. Recently, we've entered into a deal with a group out of the US who ran into one of our patents, which was blocking their pursuits commercially on a product that they wanted to develop. And over the course of the last year, we've been able to work with them to help them develop that product more appropriately, as well as licensed our IP to them for a very interesting application that they're launching in the northeast of the US at the end of Q3. That's an adult rec-focused novel product. And we ended up, as part of that transaction, owning 20% of the company, and we're excited about the prospects of that company that's called FlowerPod as it grows and develops as well. When it comes to how we take ideas from initial understanding into commercialization, we deploy what we call smart commercialization. And this is actually the opposite of this vertical integration strategy. At Emerald, as I've said before, our core capability is understanding science, understanding new product development, and understanding IP. We are perfectly fine with taking a product idea, getting it to a prototype stage, and then partnering with a third-party entity that has more capability than we could have when it comes to commercialization and scale up, and being able to leverage that partnership to do it in a much more cost, time-effective, and capital-effective way. And we've utilized that partnership for a variety of our different products that we've got into the market, and we'll continue to utilize that. It's a proven methodology that's been used in many other sectors, including the pharmaceutical and the biotech sector that we have a lot of familiarity with. Here's our leadership team. Again, we've talked a lot about science. Our leadership team and our board comes with hundreds of years of scientific experience in the pharma, biotech, life sciences, and clinical research segment of the market. We also are very proud, if you look at our management team, that our management team has a greater proportion of women than it does have men. And so we're proud of that, because that really helps us drive to have new insights into when we're developing products on features and attributes that we think are ignored when you don't have that perspective being brought on from a senior leadership perspective to what you're trying to develop from a product base. When it comes to the consumers that we're targeting, it's very important for us to understand who those consumers are and be able to understand their needs, what they're looking for, what their purchase drivers are, and how to delight them. So we've spent the last few months making sure that we do take this opportunity to understand our consumers. And if you look at our consumer segments, we have 2 segments that have very purposeful uses for why they use cannabis. And the current users of cannabis that we're targeting are medical pursuers who utilize cannabis for pain and wellness applications, more health-oriented, and prefer CBD products, and focused enhancers who utilizing cannabis for a specific activity or an experience that lasts a specific duration of time. They prefer THC products. Purposeful experiences is what these consumers are targeting, and our defined dose product set actually serves their needs very well. We also are very intrigued with this group called likely users. So these are people who are very intrigued by cannabis products, but have not used them yet. They may have a potential to use the products in the next 6 to 18 months and have an inclination to do so. But we're absolutely convinced that a large proportion of these users are going to want to use products that they have familiarity with companies that they trust, with products that are scientifically validated, that let them have control over their cannabis consumption experience. And again, our defined dose product series serves very well, and we think is going to be a great product series that lets them cross the chasm into using products that have cannabis and cannabinoids as part of their product and feature set. Quick overview of our facilities. Our first facility is our St. Eustache cultivation facility. So that facility is based in Quebec. It's an indoor controlled grow facility, 88,000 square feet. It's got 18 grow rooms that let us actually customize the temperature, the light conditions, and the humidity to optimize for the cultivar that's growing in a particular room. Lets us produce some very high quality cannabis that we market under the Souvenir and the Emerald brand. The other thing is this facility does let us control our supply needs because we have access to supply that we can use for dried flower and our other products. Our Greater Vancouver facility is actually used by our new product development team for research and development. It's a well-equipped facility where the team gets to work together. And our Victoria facility is a processing, genetics, and it's the facility where we run our medical business out of. When it comes to, again, Emerald, we absolutely believe in partnerships, and we've utilized partnerships to broaden our geographical footprint beyond Canada. Our first partnership was with a company called StenoCare, where they're getting access to our medical products to utilize in Scandinavia and other select European countries. We formed a partnership with Medical Plants Spain. That partnership is really focused on being able to have them leverage our cultivation, our regulatory, and our construction expertise, and allowing us to access at a very, very favorable cost GMP, EU GMP certified medical grade cannabis in Europe, which we could use at the opportune time to launch our products into Europe. And we've been able to do so without having to make a capital commitment or a purchase commitment to that company as part of that partnership. Our third partnership was what we referenced before with FlowerPod, where they've licensed one of our patents and we've helped them on co-development, and we now own 20%, almost 20% of that company. And our fourth partnership, which we just announced about 2 weeks ago, was with a company called Prima, where we're helping them develop scientifically validated products that are focused on health, wellness, and total body care. The team from Prima has an excellent experience base in CPG as well as direct to consumer marketing. They have founders who come from The Honest Company, which just recently went public, and we think that that opportunity presents a great level of growth as well. We're very proud of this slide. This gives a perspective of our financial position. So just a quick snapshot, right? We have zero debt. Our accounts payable are purely current. We have a substantial amount of cash on hand of over 25 million. As you can see from this slide, our P&L structure has been rapidly improving as we took a lot of changes over 2020 and at the end of 2019 to improve this condition. And all of our facilities are fully built out. So we've been able to channel our capital towards fulfilling the growth mandate that we have on launching these new products, developing innovative product concepts, and helping to accelerate the partnerships that I've just talked about. Which leads to this last slide, which just talks about the opportunity here. If you take a look at our unique positioning in the segment, what we're working at from a strategic perspective and the strong financial position that we're in, we feel we have the ability to kind of continue to accelerate growth from a self-sustained perspective, and then amplify that growth as we get through the remainder of 2021 and into 2022. So with that, I will stop, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Hi, Riaz. It's Patrick. I've got about 1 minute left. 1 minute left. So I'm going to squeeze a couple in here really quickly. Sure. I want to hear more about the IP, especially with this, the sublingual product offering. I think that's really interesting. Definitely something that we should all be paying attention to, with the precise dosing opportunity there. And obviously, if there's IP around that, I'd love to learn more.
Sure. So our IP segment, our IP portfolio is really kind of broken up into 3 segments, right? So first segment really does focus in around concepts around defined dose and this predictable action profile. The second bit really focuses in around compounds that we think increase the bioavailability of cannabinoids. And the third bit really focuses in on combination products that combine cannabinoids with other functional botanicals or other phytocannabinoids that we think can be used in health and wellness applications. And again, part of our strategy is always looking at ways to expand our IP portfolio, which is part of what we do.
Yeah, well, definitely something that would set you apart there. So that is exciting, man. We're at time, unfortunately. So I've got questions. I'll send them your way, and maybe we can get some answers for our investors in the chat here, Riaz. But I really appreciate you being with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it as well.
Awesome. So again, you guys, Emerald Health Therapeutics, that's EMHTF on the OTC.